Today, we're talking about the 7 money rules that will literally change your entire financial future. And look, here's the thing. Most people in their 20s are making the exact same financial mistakes over and over again. And these mistakes are costing them literally hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. You might think you're doing okay because you're paying your bills on time, maybe you've got a little bit saved up, but the reality is that's not nearly enough. This is something I spend way too much time thinking about. I've analyzed the financial habits of thousands of people who became wealthy in their 30s and 40s, and I compared them against people who are still struggling financially at that same age. And here's what I found. They all follow the exact same 7 rules in their 20s, every single one of them. Now, most personal finance advice will tell you that building wealth is complicated, that you need to be a genius with money, that you need to understand complex investment strategies. But I actually think that's completely wrong. The people who win with money in their 20s aren't doing anything complicated. They're just following a specific set of principles that compound over time. So in this video, I'm going to break down all 7 of these rules. This is the proven framework for how to set yourself up financially in your 20s so that you're wealthy by your 30s and 40s. And by the way, my name's Alex, and I spend way too much time thinking about personal finance and wealth building. If you're someone who's in your 20s and you want to actually build real wealth instead of just surviving paycheck to paycheck, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so rule number 2, and I'm starting with number 2 on purpose because the first rule is actually even better. Pay yourself first with the 30% rule. Most people hear pay yourself first and they think it means save 10% of your income. And look, that's fine, but it's not what actually builds wealth. Here's what most people don't realize. When you get paid, the order in which you allocate your money is literally more important than how much you make. Let me explain the math on this. Let's say you make $4,000 a month after taxes. Most people pay their bills first, rent, utilities, car payment, and then they say, okay, whatever's left over, I'll save that. And you know what's left over? Usually like $200, maybe $300 if they had a good month. But here's the problem. Your expenses will always expand to fill your income. This is called Parkinson's law. If you have $3,700 left after saving $300, you will find a way to spend $3,700. So here's the rule. The moment you get paid, before you do anything else, you automatically move 30% into investments and savings, not 10%, not whatever's left over, a full 30%. When you force yourself to live on 70% of your income, something magical happens. You figure it out. You cut the subscriptions you don't use. You meal prep instead of eating out. You find cheaper alternatives. And that 30%, over 10 years at a 10% return, that's over $200,000 in wealth you just created. Now, rule number 1, and this is the absolute most important one, increase your income, not your lifestyle. Here's what nobody tells you about your 20s. This is the only decade where you can increase your income by 100%, 200%, even 300% in just a few years. But most people completely waste this opportunity. The average person in their early 20s makes around $35,000 to $40,000 a year. By their late 20s, it should be $60,000 to $80,000. And if you're strategic, it can be $100,000 or more. But here's the problem. Most people increase their lifestyle at the exact same rate they increase their income. You get a $10,000 raise, and suddenly you're upgrading your apartment, buying a nicer car, eating at nicer restaurants. And you know what happens? You're still living paycheck to paycheck, just with nicer stuff. Here's the rule that changed everything for me. Every time you get a raise or make more money, put 80% of that increase straight into investments. Not 50%, not 20%, 80%. So if you go from making $40,000 to $50,000, that's an extra $10,000 a year. Put $8,000 of that into your investment accounts. You can lifestyle creep with the other $2,000, that's fine. But this one rule, capturing your raises instead of spending them, This is what separates people who become wealthy from people who just look wealthy. Rule number 3, and this one is controversial: avoid debt like it's a disease, except for one thing. Look, I know everyone says good debt versus bad debt, and leverage is how you build wealth. And technically, that's true. But in your 20s, debt is almost always a trap. Here's why. When you're in your 20s, your biggest wealth building tool isn't leverage, it's time. You have 40+ years for compound interest to work. You don't need to take risks with debt. So here's the rule. Avoid all debt except for a mortgage on a house you can actually afford. That means no car loans. Buy a $5,000 used car and drive it until it dies. No credit card debt. If you can't pay it off every month, you can't afford it. No personal loans for vacations or weddings or anything else. The only exception is a mortgage, and even then, only if the payment is less than 25% of your take-home pay. Because here's what happens when you avoid debt in your 20s. All that money that would have gone to interest payments, which is literally just throwing money away, goes into investments instead. Let's do the math. The average car payment in America is $500 a month. If instead of having a car payment, you invested that $500 for 10 years at 10% returns, that's $102,000. You literally just gave up $100,000 for the privilege of driving a nicer car in your 20s. That's insane. Rule number 4, and this is where most people get it completely wrong. Build 3 distinct money buckets. Most people have one checking account and maybe one savings account, and everything just kind of mixes together. But wealthy people separate their money into 3 very specific buckets. Bucket 1, your emergency fund. This is 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account. Not invested, just sitting there. This is your life happens money. You lose your job, your car breaks down, whatever. Bucket 2, your investment bucket. This is money you don't touch for at least 5 years. This goes into index funds, retirement accounts, real estate, whatever you're investing in. The key is you never ever touch this money for emergencies or purchases. And bucket 3, your lifestyle bucket. This is your checking account for bills, fun, everything else. Here's why it matters. When your emergency fund is separate, you never have to sell your investments at a loss when life happens. When your investments are separate, you never accidentally spend them. This separation creates a psychological barrier that protects your wealth. And here's the order you build them. Emergency fund first to $1,000. Then invest while building your emergency fund to 6 months. Then go all in on investing. That point about building wealth is critical, but you also need that safety net, or one emergency will derail everything. Rule number 5, and this is something I wish someone told me when I was 22. Invest in index funds and forget everything else. Look, I know investing seems complicated. I know there's crypto and individual stocks and real estate and all these sexy investment opportunities. But the truth is, for someone in their 20s, nothing beats boring index funds. Here's why. The S&P 500 has averaged about 10% returns per year for the past 50 years. That means if you invest $500 a month from age 22 to 65, you'll have over $3 million. $3 million just from putting $500 into a boring index fund. But most people in their 20s don't do this. They try to pick stocks, they chase crypto, they look for the next big thing, and you know what happens? They lose money, or they make a little bit and then lose it all, or they just get paralyzed and invest nothing. Here's the rule. Put your money in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund or total market index fund. Set up automatic investments and don't look at it. Don't check it every day. Don't try to time the market. Don't panic when it goes down. This is the most boring advice you'll ever hear, but it's also the advice that actually works, because time in the market beats timing the market every single time. And in your 20s, you have the most valuable thing for investing: time. Rule number 6, negotiate everything, especially your salary. Here's something crazy. Most people in their 20s never negotiate their salary. They get a job offer, they say yes, and they leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table. and this compounds over your entire career. Let me show you the math. You get a job offer for $50,000. You don't negotiate. Your friend gets the same offer, negotiates, and gets $55,000. That's $5,000 more per year. But it's not just $5,000. Your raises are usually percentage-based, so that gap widens every single year. After 10 years, assuming 3% annual raises, you've made $587,000 total. Your friend made $647,000. That's a $60,000 difference just because they negotiated once. Here's the rule. Negotiate every job offer, always, even if you think the offer is fair.
The worst they can say is no, and most of the time they'll say yes to at least some of it. Ask for 10 to 15% more than the initial offer, justify it with your skills and market research, and be willing to walk away. And this applies to everything else too. Negotiate your rent, negotiate your car insurance, negotiate your internet bill. Companies expect you to negotiate. When you don't, you're just leaving money on the table. That extra money from negotiating, that goes straight into your investment bucket. This is how you accelerate wealth building without changing your lifestyle at all. And rule number 7, this is the one that ties everything together. Track every dollar for at least 3 months. I know this sounds tedious. I know you don't want to do it, but here's the thing. You cannot manage what you don't measure. And most people in their 20s have absolutely no idea where their money actually goes. You think you spend $200 a month eating out, but when you actually track it, it's $450. You think you're saving money, but then you check your account and somehow there's nothing there. Here's the rule. For at least 3 months, track every single dollar you spend. Use an app, use a spreadsheet, I don't care, just track it. And what you'll find is shocking. You're wasting money on stuff you don't even value. The average person has 4 to 5 subscriptions they forgot about. That's $50 to $100 a month, which is $600 to $1,200 a year, which invested over 10 years at 10% returns is $20,000. You literally forgot your way out of $20,000. All right, guys, those are the 7 money rules everyone should follow in their 20s. Let me recap them real quick. Rule 1, increase your income, not your lifestyle. Capture 80% of every raise. Rule 2, pay yourself first with the 30% rule. Automate it before you see the money. Rule 3, avoid all debt except a mortgage you can afford. Rule 4, build 3 separate money buckets: emergency, investment, and lifestyle. Rule 5, invest in index funds and do nothing else. Boring wins. Rule 6, negotiate everything, especially your salary. You're leaving money on the table. And Rule 7, track every dollar for 3 months. You can't manage what you don't measure. Look, I know we went super deep here. I know this is a lot to take in. But here's the thing. If you follow even half of these rules, you will be wealthier than 90% of people your age. And if you follow all 7, you're setting yourself up to be financially independent by your 30s or 40s. Your 20s are the most important financial decade of your life because of compound interest. The money you invest now will be worth 5x, 10x, even 20x more by the time you're ready to retire. So don't waste this opportunity. Found this helpful? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more financial content like this. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these 7 rules you're going to start with. And if you want to go even deeper on any of these topics, let me know, and I'll make a full video breaking it down. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.